What's up everybody and welcome back to another Path of Exile 2 video. Today we're going to rank all the profit strategies I've used so far this season, strategies that help me make multiple mirrors and that you can use to generate serious currency. These methods don't just apply to POE 2 either, most of them also work in Path of Exile 1, so no matter which game you're playing, these will help you make the most out of your time. So we're using a 5-tier system to rank every strategy. Homeless tier, broke tier, exalted tier, divine tier, and mirror tier. Now here's the thing, you can't skip any of these tiers. At the start of every new season, everyone begins in homeless. But if you make smart decisions, you'll work your way up to mirror tier profits in no time. Let's start with the most basic of all strategies, playing. At the beginning of any league, you have no choice but to level a character. That means running the campaign, clearing early maps, and just playing the game. It can bring some profit, especially in endgame, but overall it's not efficient. It's slow, limited, and mostly just a means to unlock better strategies. So for that reason, playing goes into the homeless tier. Flipping basics. So flipping in Path of Exile 2 is pretty straightforward. You buy undervalued items and resell them for a profit. Usually that works like this. You visit the POE 2 trade site, you search for valuable items or modifiers, you buy them cheaply, and then you resell at a higher price from your stash tab. Simple enough, right? So there's a catch. Flipping comes with significant risk. If you misjudge the market, or if a new patch suddenly makes your item worthless, you could lose a lot of currency. Imagine investing heavily into the Astromantis amulet, only to find it's nerfed overnight. Suddenly, you're stuck holding an expensive pile of useless items. To avoid that scenario, you need a better approach. So you want to watch what people want to buy. Rather than focusing on what people are selling, you will pay close attention to what buyers actively want to buy. So there's one major limitation to that. The official POE 2 trade site only lets you create sell listings. You can't post buy orders, at least for items. This is why we rely on external communities, especially in Discord. So you will be trying to find real demand on Discord. And the best place for that is the TFT Discord server. So the Forbidden Trove Discord server. It has dedicated bulk WTB, so willing to buy channels, where you can see what people are actively trying to buy. For example, in the current league, Hunt, someone might post an offer like buying 10 stellar amulets for 1 divine. While useful, keep in mind this isn't necessarily the item's true market value, it's just what this buyer is willing to pay. And many of these buyers are flipping themselves, so they'll purchase your items in the WTB channel and then resell them at a higher markup in the bulk WTS channel. WTS stands for willing to sell. So here's how it looks in practice. A bulk buyer might offer you 1 divine per 10 stellar amulets in the WTB's channel, and then they resell them for 15 to 18 divines per 60 amulets in the WTS channel. That's flipping on a larger scale. So the real challenge is to meet the bulk capital requirements in the WTS channel. So the tricky part is to participate in the WTS channels, like the people that I just explained in the example, you need serious capital. The reason is simple. Crafters only want to buy in large bulk quantities, typically 60, 80, or even 200 amulets at a time. Buying in these quantities often means you're looking at investments of 100 plus divines. That's not something most players can easily afford. This means you're not only risking huge amounts of currency, but you're also facing intense competition from large-scale flip.
We might do it in front of a mirror to see what we look like when we do that new dance step, or when we just want to see how we look.
Flippers. This issue is exactly why we created bank flipping. So it works like this. You deposit your items, such as stellar amulets. We pool everyone's items together into large stacks, and then we sell these bulk stacks directly to crafters at premium prices, like 15 to 20 divines per 60. Once items sell, you get your share of the profits. Pooling resources allows us to demand higher prices because we have the large quantities crafters actually want. It's safe, scalable, and most importantly, low effort for you. So there is a catch. Bank flipping is paused right now. So currently, during the Dawn of the Hunt League, bank flipping is temporarily paused. And here's why. We need to manage deposits, track contributors, and coordinate bulk sales, and that is simply a ton of work. Additionally, overall trading volume is down significantly due to the fewer active players this league. And because of that, we've paused bank flipping for now. But we fully intended to bring it back next league when player numbers and demand are expected to recover. In previous leagues, we also offered an instant sell option, letting players sell items directly to the bank for slightly less. So 5 to 10% below market price for immediate currency, zero hassle. There's a few other flipping methods. And the last additional flipping method worth mentioning is buying under-optimized items. So items missing quality, sockets, or key affixes. You purchase these cheaply, fix them using simple crafting methods, and then resell them at full value. This strategy is tied very closely to in-game mechanics though, so we'll explore it fully in a dedicated video later. And it's only really useful in the very much beginning of the league. So I will release a video on that starting with the next league. So let's compare scalability of flipping versus bank flipping. So when comparing these methods, think of it like this. Standard flipping. Profitable, but time consuming, risky, and resource intensive. Good for scaling from chaos into exalted tier profits. Difficult to scale beyond a certain point due to workload and competition. Bank flipping. Offers similar or greater profits. Minimal work and reduced risk. Scalable easily into divine tier profit. Better suited for most players. So in short, flipping can be very rewarding, but requires substantial currency and lots of effort. Bank flipping provides higher convenience, less risk, and often higher profit margins, especially for those without massive currency reserves. So flipping will be going into the exalted tier, and bank flipping into the divine tier. So while bank flipping is paused this league, it will return next league, ready to help you profit safely and reliably. So let us continue with the rest. And the first two that we'll be looking at are trading and bank investing. So trading and bank investing kind of go hand in hand, and I'll explain exactly how that works in a second. So trading is doing either of two things. You either go to the POE 2 trade site and then to bulk item exchange, or you go to the Alva NPC inside the game and then to currency exchange. So those two are very different in their scalability and also in the ways in which they are manipulated. The bulk item exchange is only really useful in the beginning of a league, because you need to manually contact each and every single person that you're going to trade with. So for example, if I want to buy a lot of items, that will take me a long time, and I will also have to deal with people who are not actually trying to complete the trade. So they are doing that to do something called price fixing. Price fixing is basically when you're making a lot of offers for an item, suggesting that it has a different value than it actually has. So that leads people to sell those items for way cheaper than their actual worth, simply because you got these offers going on in the background. So that's really, really scummy, and also something a lot of people don't want to deal with. So that's why it's not used a lot generally, only in the beginning of a league, when not many have unlocked the Alva currency exchange. So why is trading on Path of Exile so profitable? It all starts with the Alva currency exchange. this system lets you trade every single currency into any other currency inside the game. This opens the door to some real-world finance strategies, margin trading, and investing. In the game, just like in real life, there's a gap between what people are willing to buy for and what people are willing to sell for. And that difference, that's your profit margin. If you outbid other buyers, right here, and you undercut other sellers, right here, essentially becoming the middleman, you can profit from both ends of the trade. And here's the thing, you'll still come out ahead even if you slightly overpay when buying or slightly undercut when selling, as long as the spread between these two numbers is big enough. Now, there's a catch. Every trade requires gold. So to keep your trading operation running, you need a steady gold influx. There's a few ways on how to do that. The first of which being to sell items for gold, the second, playing the game, and the third one is when you're searching for specific unique maps that are only dropping gold. So those are very rare, but sometimes there's people selling access to these maps for some divines. So you'll have to calculate if that is worth paying the cost that they are demanding. So the cost of your time or effort to generate gold determines how big your profit margins need to be. If you generate gold quickly, you can work with slimmer margins. If it's slow, your margins need to be higher. But trading isn't just about flipping currencies. There's another powerful strategy which is called investing. So in Path of Exile 1, we had access to an API that let us track and analyze historical prices for every trade and every currency. But in Path of Exile 2, that kind of data isn't public anymore. So what do? We manually track data points, and yes, it's a grind, but it pays off. We've been doing that ourselves and sharing the results on our Discord server. If you haven't joined yet at this point in the video, definitely check it out. We publish historical charts, trend data, and breakdowns on how currencies are moving. If you're not into data analysis or just don't have the time, I also make videos explaining those trends. So be sure to subscribe if you want those insights delivered directly. So here's an example on how this helps. Let's say you notice that a certain currency is cheaper in the morning and more expensive in the evening. That's a consistent pattern. So what do? You buy in the morning, selling in the evening. And just like that, you've turned investing into daily passive profit. Alright, let's get back to the ranking. Trading, that goes straight into the divine tier. Why? Because even if you're playing solo, just casually watching the market and doing a bit of margin trading, you can make insane daily profits with very little effort. You don't need to invest, you don't need tools, you just need to be smart and consistent. The workload is light and the profit potential is massive. Now let's talk about bank investing. We're putting that all the way into mirror tier. Why? Because you do absolutely nothing and still make profit. So let me explain. As you saw, we've been collecting and analyzing trade data all league long. We build charts, track trends, and identify opportunities, and that's the engine behind our bank. When you do bank investing, you're giving us currency and we handle the rest. Your deposit is logged in refined tracking documents. We invest your currency directly into the market, and you get daily updates showing how much your wallet has grown. In addition to that, you can withdraw anytime. Now, about fees. At the start of the league, the fees are super low, even 0% in the first few days, because that's when trades are hottest and we need more capital to move fast. Later in the league, fees go up slightly to 2 to 3%, depending on conditions. Still incredibly low for what you get. So here's a quick example. Let's say we're hitting our goal of 5% daily return. If you invest 100 divine orbs, that's 5 divines in profit every single day passively. And that also compounds, right? So 105 divines and 5% of that is slightly more than just 5% of 100 divines. So it's a compounding increase. You don't need to flip, you don't need to monitor prices, you just watch your wallet grow. So if you want more details on that, head to our Discord and check out the info channels. There's everything explained clearly. And in addition to that, you'll also find some member benefits channels where if you're interested in supporting this project, you can do that there and you'll receive some additional benefits. Like for example, 0.0% fee for all of the rest of the league. So to sum it up, we have active trading, which is divine tier, massive profit, low effort, and we have bank investing, mirror tier, true passive income. Both strategies are incredibly strong. It just depends on how involved you want to be. So the best comes last, as they say. Let's talk about Gamba. Now, Gamba can actually be very, very profitable. But as the name suggests, it's also gambling.
It's like I don't want to gamble, you know? Like, I understand the risk. I know it's an addiction, and frankly, I just need help, you know? I can't hit the slot machines forever, and it's just one of those things where... Well, I'm gonna have to say it. Let's go gambling!
So the way it usually works is this. You take a very expensive white item base, the kind that sells for a lot just on its own, and then you throw an orb of chance at it. The goal is to hit a specific unique item, one that can be worth a ton of currency. But here's the thing, that chance is tiny. You're basically praying to RNGesus every time you click. Now, not every item can even be chanced this way. That's why those specific white bases are so expensive. And that's also why Gamba is usually not profitable at all. Let's be real. Most of the time, you're looking at something like a 60% return on your investment. And that's if you're lucky. Even crafting can fall into the Gamba category. If you're trying to slam out a mirror tier item without using optimized methods, you're just burning currency hoping for a miracle. So yeah, Gamba can be fun, and it's definitely a meme in the community. But if we're talking about actual profit strategies, no, it's not even close. So this one's going straight into the homeless tier. It's below broke, below even playing, and maybe even below hope itself. There is zero reliable profit here. So unless you're gambling for fun or content, don't. Just don't. Alright, that wraps up our full breakdown of profit strategies in Path of Exile. From bank investing, to margin trading, to boosted playing, and even the truly homeless path of Gamba, we've covered a lot. And if you're still here at the end, thank you. Only a very small percentage of people watch all the way through, so that really means a lot. There's still plenty more to learn, from advanced trade setups to deeper market analysis and build synergies. You'll find a ton of that in the Discord and in the upcoming videos I'm working on. So if you want to stay ahead of the economy, drop a like, subscribe, and definitely join the Discord. There's a lot more waiting for you there. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.